Hi, good people. It's Amy from Savor Salvage Scent, and I hope this finds you well. For those of you who are new to the channel, this mostly focuses on all things perfume and fragrance related with an occasional other creative project. And for those of you returning, thank you so much for being here. I am rounding out a series of videos about different perfumeries, shops, boutiques I went to while on a recent vacation to Paris. And today I'm going to concentrate on some of my favorite scents that are from French pharmacies. So something I feel like I don't hear talked about a lot are, I hear about them talked about from the beauty aspect. There's a lot of wonderful things you can find in French pharmacies. And I'll actually do another video about some of the beauty products that I really love from French pharmacies. But you can find some really terrific perfumes too, especially colognes. You know, I think a lot of people know that there are wonderful soaps and things like that from France, but I thought I would share with you a few of my favorite scents. All of these except for one are all from the house of Roger Gallet, and then one is from Caudalie. So I'm going to dive right in. First, I'll talk a little bit about Roger and Gallet. So some of you will be familiar with their emblem or the bottles. They have phenomenal soaps. I actually should have, I actually gifted all my soaps when I got back from France, but they're beautiful. They come in these jewel box presentations and just gorgeous and the most beautiful scents. Pardon me. But this house has been around for a very long time. I think they were founded in the mid 1800s. But I actually think they were even purchased before that. There was a dispute or some issue around their name or something. But so they've been making products for a very long time. A lot of them are, I think actually all of their scents are of like a cologne or a cologne d'extrait quality. So they're lighter scents. And I think you should probably, if you're going to test them or start to try them out, just keep that in mind that these are not, they're not known for being super heavy or like super powerful, but they're really beautiful in my estimation. And they're very affordable. So the typical 1 ounce bottle, you know, looks something like this. And they range anywhere, if you're in France, you can find them as inexpensively as like 13 to 20 euros. Back here, you can find them online from somewhere between, I would say, 17 and low 30s for an ounce. And then they have a line that's somewhat more recently made that are, I think the older scents, they tend to be the lighter ones in my experience. But again, they're super, super affordable. But they released a line of 3 or 4 different scents in 2017 that I'm going to talk about that are a little more expensive. The difference is you'll see on the bottle these little flowers. These run anywhere, and if you're in France, anywhere from like, I would say low 20 euros to 30. So if you were to purchase them here in the States, I think they're somewhere between, I think 30 and 40, something like that. And then Caudalie, so where Roger and Gallet, I think, started as a, I think, toiletry cologne soap company. Caudalie is a French, I think, pharmacy and cosmetics company who also happens to make perfumes. Their scents, I think this is 1.7. These run around about 20 euros as well. So, all right, I'm going to dive into the scents. First, Osmanthus, one of my favorite scents ever. And it's funny, for those of you who are not familiar, I will highly recommend a blog by a woman named Victoria, who is a nose, and she goes by Bois de Jasmine. And I just love, she just puts out some of the best content, I think. But she says that this does not smell like just like Osmanthus. It's not like a true only Osmanthus smell. However, I love this scent, and I'll tell you briefly what is in it. it is essentially, and I wrote them down because there's a lot of notes. Orange bark, mandarin, grapefruit, Osmanthus, neroli, tonka, benzoin, and sandalwood. That's what's listed when you pull up the scent, when you Google it. But it's interesting, when you look at Fragrantica, they add a few notes. They add pink pepper, patchouli, and apricot. And what I get here is like, I would call this a sparkling apricot soda. That's what it smells like to me, with a little bit of a floral take. I love, love, love this in spring and summer because it's very uplifting. It's cooling in the heat, but you could wear this anytime. I think it performs a little better in the summer or the spring. But it's just, I think it's just beautiful. And to me, it's a perfect scent for me in that it's fruity, but it's not so fruity that it's only fruit and only sweet. It's got this sparkling nature. It's got a tiny bit of floral, but it's not only floral. It's just perfection. And if for somebody who likes like apricot or peach or stone fruit, it's wonderful. Okay, next. This is Fleur de Figuier. So fig flower. And this, I was really surprised to read the nose for this. I don't think there was a nose listed for Fleur de Osmanthus, but for this scent, it is good old Francis Kirk de Jean. So I thought that was really interesting. This is one of their more inexpensive scents. And what I love about it, I would call this a unisex to almost male-leaning fig. I wear it and love it. I wore it a lot when I was in Paris. I actually use this even as room spray. I just loved this. And the reason I say that it's a bit more male-leaning is it has a lot of, it has patchouli in it. It is got a muskiness and a woodiness. And so you definitely get the fig, but as much or more, you get the other things. And so I think it's just really interesting because I feel like there's a lot of fig scents that are like super, super fig or super green or fig and coconut. This is fig, wood, musk, and a little patchouli, and I just love it. Again, to me, it's a bit more male-leaning, but I love it. Super refreshing, and I think it does kind of have a niche feel. So in that way, I was not surprised to read who the nose was. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about are on this relatively new line. I think those two were in the early 2010s, and these three were released in 2017. The first is called Cassie Frenzy. So Cassis Frenzy. Gosh, this is such a winner. So weird in the best of ways and amazing and interesting. A lot of you will know that or have experienced that Cassis has a almost tomato leaf smell to it, or at least the leaf does. Ugh, and that's mostly what I get from this. I would call this Diptyque L'Ombre Dawn's cousin. They smell so similar. This isn't quite as strong because again, in this case, it's a extrait de cologne. But you get, I'm going to read you some more of the notes because there's a lot of them. But I mostly get that kind of tomato leaf fresh green smell. It's cassis, bergamot, petitgrain, pepper, geranium, lavender, cedar, gaiac wood, rose, galbanum, pink pepper, I think. An herb I've never heard of, etc. So it's mostly it's an aromatic really, but that cassis and that tomato leaf smell really comes through. And I mean, if you would spray this for me and blindfold me, I would swear that this was L'Ombre Dawn by Diptyque, just a little lighter and more wearable, I would say, year-round. But I love both. This is great, super great for the price, and I think very, very unique in that for a pharmacy scent, for a really affordable scent, I think it's really gutsy to use something like Cassis or, you know, with that tomato leaf smell. It's really cool. Next, out of the three, this seems to get a lot of the hype. And I like it, but I prefer the other two more. But in this line, this is Fantasie. So Tea Fantasy. I do really like it, but it is, how should I say? I love tea scents, so I have some other scents that I think that I prefer. But it's essentially, it's aromatic citrus tea. A little bit of spice. The nose for this is Alberto Marias. Beyond the fact that I have scents that smell similarly or frankly even better that are tea scents, this one is the lightest of all of these, to the point where when I spray this, it's gone in 30 minutes on my skin. So this one I wouldn't repurchase. I mean, if you love tea and you love this nose or you love this house, I would definitely recommend trying it. But this is the only one I would say out of the 6 I'm talking about today that I wouldn't repurchase. So that's Tea Fantasy. The last, and this was a real surprise, is Tubereuse Hedonie. So hedonist tuberose. Oh God, this is so gorgeous. And so I just don't have anything that smells exactly like it. I was expecting it to be super duper sweet because of the tuberose element. I love tuberose. Not everybody loves it. I find that often the tuberose that I love in perfumes, the way it's represented is the creamy nature of tuberose. So that like almost gourmand, lactonic almost smelling creamy tuberose. This is different. In this, I get a slightly spicy, earthy tuberose. So you get the kind of green nature of the plant, a tiny bit of spice, and a little bit of earth, but yet it's still, I would call perfectly unisex. And it's like nothing else I own. And it's one that I spray it and I catch a whiff of myself and I'm like, oh, that is so good. And part of the reason I feel that way is because it's really unique compared to other things I own, and it kind of catches me by surprise. It's so, so, so beautiful. So again, that is Tubereuse Hedonie by Roger Gallet. Just beautiful. Do I have a nose for this? Oh, it's Anne Filippo. So she's wonderful, and that is not a surprise. That is a great scent, and I think really phenomenal for a pharmacy scent. Last but not least, one Caudalie I want to share with you. I fell in love with, they have a few scents that are based on the vines or les vignes. And I have worn a couple others. I think one is just called, it's actually, I think, Thé Vignes. So like, I think it's like a tea and vine scent, but I think it's all playing on grapes and the ideas of grapes being used in the cosmetics and or the scents. Let me know if I'm wrong. However, this one was a total surprise. So I bought this did not smell it first, based on the fact that I liked the other two scents a lot, and this was on sale. By the way, French pharmacies, I love just the big old grocery stores called Monoprix, and I love their pharmacies within. But you can find French pharmacies just about anywhere, at least in Paris. And almost all of them carry perfume and cologne, which is amazing. So this Caudalie, I purchased this just knowing it, hoping at least it would be great based on the other two I've tried. This was a total surprise because it is very different than the other two, where the other two smell very aromatic and like vines. This, the emphasis in the name is on Soleil. So Soleil des Vignes. So the vines in the sun, apparently. So let me read to you the notes because I was really surprised by them. Orange, coconut, jasmine, petitgrain, and vanilla. The coconut was a total surprise, and this was a wonderful surprise. I know that coconut can be really polarizing for people. People tend to love it or hate it. I think for a lot of people who dislike it, it's because either they don't like the taste of it, and or it's because they've only had like those combinations that remind you of suntan lotion or pina colada. It's not for everybody. But I think coconut, just like any other element, it can be done in many, many different ways. And this is so, so interesting. First, I'll say, though it does have a gourmand quality for me, again, I think this is unisex. It's a light and interesting coconut. It's not super heavy and lactonic. It's kind of like an orange creamsicle had a baby with some fresh coconut. And if any of you are familiar, this smells not exactly like, but like a sister to another favorite scent of mine that has coconut in it, which is Lolita Lempica's El Lem. It is a gorgeous scent, totally underrated. Not many people talk about it. It's a beautiful kind of sparkling, interesting coconut. And this is that way too. It's got this sparkling quality, but it's got that creamy orange sickle thing going on too, but it's not too heavy somehow. It does have like a Soleil feel, like sparkling in the light feel. So I think it's a coconut you could, if there ever was a summer coconut or a unisex coconut, I would say it's this Caudalie Soleil de Vignes. Pardon me. So this is super, super affordable, and I think would be such an amazing signature scent because it's very different than the majority of scents out on the market, but really beautiful. Again, I think it runs around 20 euros. So really, really terrific. So I'd love to hear from you. What French pharmacy scents have you tried? Do you have a favorite? Have you worn Roger Gallet? Have you tried Caudalie? And I would love to know if you've tried any of their pharmacy items as well. Talk soon. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye.